5 years ago, my husband walked out of our home without warning. No fight. No goodbye. Just a note on the kitchen counter saying he had to leave for my safety. Everyone told me he abandoned me. Everyone told me to move on. And eventually, I did. But yesterday evening, in the middle of a cold, rainy street, I saw a homeless man sitting by a grocery store, shivering, holding a cardboard sign. Something made me stop. Something made me look closer. And when he raised his face, my entire world collapsed. It was my husband, broken, fearful, thin. And when I whispered his name, he whispered back, "Please don't hurt me. I don't remember you." I thought losing him once was painful. But the truth behind his disappearance, the truth I would uncover later, was darker than anything I ever imagined. I still remember the last normal morning of my life. Coffee on the counter. Michael humming off key like he always did while shaving. Me packing his lunch, teasing him about being late again. Everything felt ordinary, safe, predictable. And then by evening, my entire world shattered. I came home from work and the house was too quiet. Our dog wasn't barking. Michael's shoes weren't by the door. His jacket was gone. His wallet too. But the worst part wasn't the silence. It was the note. Just one small piece of paper on the kitchen counter, written in a shaking hand. "I have to leave. Please don't look for me. It's better this way." No explanation. No phone call. No warning. I stood there for almost half an hour, just staring at those words, waiting for him to walk in and say it was some stupid joke. But he never came. And that night I filed a missing person report. Alone in my living room. Hands trembling, heart beating like someone had kicked a hole through my chest. The police asked the same questions over and over. Any marital issues? Debt? Arguments? Is someone threatening him? But there was nothing. No red flags. No fights. No secret life, not that I knew of. Just emptiness. Days passed. Then weeks. Then months. People stopped asking how I was. My friends quietly drifted away. Even my own family started telling me the same cruel sentence. "Elena, he left you. Men don't just disappear. Move on." But I couldn't. I loved him. I needed answers. And every night I slept with my phone under my pillow praying he'd call. Even once. But the phone never rang. And slowly, painfully, life moved forward without him. Little did I know. 5 years later, on a rainy Thursday evening, I would find him again. Not in a hospital. Not in another city. Not even with another family. But sitting on a cold sidewalk. Thin, unwashed, trembling. Begging strangers for spare change. And staring at me with eyes that no longer knew my name. The rain was hitting my umbrella so hard I almost walked past him. I was rushing, carrying groceries, half tired from work. Just another Thursday evening. Until something in the corner of my eye made me stop. A man sat on the pavement, knees pulled to his chest, soaked through, holding a cardboard sign that read, "Anything helps. God bless." People walked around him like he was invisible. Normally I would have kept walking too. But something about the way he was shivering, head bowed, shoulders caved in. Something twisted inside my stomach. I don't know why I crouched down. I don't know why I whispered, "Sir? Are you okay?" But when he lifted his face, the world fell out from under me. Because it wasn't a stranger. It was Michael. My husband. My missing husband, who should have been 5 years older but somehow looked 20 years older. His once strong jawline now sunken. His cheeks hollow. His hair matted, streaked with gray. His eyes dull, scared, unfocused. He looked like a ghost trapped inside a living body. I froze, my grocery bag falling onto the wet concrete. "Michael," I whispered. He flinched. Actually flinched like the name hurt him. I'm sorry," he stuttered, pulling his knees tighter. "I didn't do anything. Please don't hurt me." My heart cracked into pieces. "It's me," I said, kneeling in front of him despite the rain soaking through my jeans. "It's Elena, your wife. I've been looking for you for 5 years." He shook his head slowly, terrified. I don't know you." His voice trembled, and for the first time in my life, I felt genuine disbelief. Because the man who once held me like I was the only person in the world, who promised me forever, was staring at me like I was a threat, like I was nobody. The rain fell harder. People stared. Cars splashed past. And there I was crying on a dirty sidewalk, begging my own husband to recognize me. "Michael, please," I whispered. "Tell me what happened to you." But he only repeated one thing, voice breaking. "I don't remember. Please just leave me alone." And that sentence cut deeper than his disappearance ever did. I don't know how long I sat there in the rain. Maybe 5 minutes. Maybe 50. All I remember is staring at him. At this broken version of the man I once knew. Trying to understand how life could twist someone so brutally. He kept avoiding my eyes, looking down at his shaking hands, mumbling apologies for things he didn't even do. "Michael, you can come home with me," I said softly. He jerked like I'd struck him. "No," he whispered, backing away on the cold pavement. "I can't go anywhere. I don't have a home. I don't belong to anyone." The word stabbed me in the chest. "You belong with me," I insisted, my voice trembling. "You're my husband." He stared at me, confusion clouding his face, like he was trying to pull a memory out of thick fog. "Husband," he repeated quietly. "I don't remember being someone's husband." The rain made his hair stick to his forehead. I could see bruises, old scars, signs of malnutrition. This wasn't neglect, this was survival. He hadn't just disappeared. He had suffered. "Michael, let me help you," I whispered again. "If you don't want to come home, fine. We can go to a diner. Or a shelter. Or the hospital." At the word hospital, he recoiled violently. "No," he snapped, breathing fast. "Please don't take me there. They hurt me. I don't want to go back." His voice cracked into a childlike panic, the kind that only comes from trauma, not confusion. My heart dropped. "Who hurt you?" I asked. He shook his head rapidly, like someone terrified of punishment. "I'm not supposed to say." His hands trembled so hard he nearly dropped the sign he was holding. For the first time, fear crawled down my spine. This wasn't the reaction of a man who got lost, or someone who ran away, or someone who simply forgot. Something or someone had broken him. "I'm not leaving you here," I told him firmly. "You're coming with me, even if we just sit in the car. Even if you don't talk. Just let me get you out of the rain." He hesitated. Minutes passed. Cars splashed by. The streetlight flickered above us. And finally, barely audible, he whispered, "Okay." My heart almost stopped. I helped him stand, and for a moment he leaned on me, fragile and exhausted, like his body barely remembered how to stay upright. I opened the passenger door. He sat inside slowly, looking around like the car itself felt unfamiliar. As I buckled his seatbelt, he whispered a sentence that sent a cold wave through my body. "I didn't leave you. Someone made me leave." And for the first time in 5 years, I realized I had been wrong about everything. When Michael said that, the room seemed to tilt sideways. 5 years of pain, confusion, and unanswered questions suddenly felt different. I sat beside him, my heart pounding in my throat. "Michael, who made you leave?" I whispered. He swallowed hard, eyes darting around my living room like he was afraid the walls could hear him. "It was someone we trusted," he said carefully. "Someone who knew both of us. Someone who said he wanted to protect you." A slow, cold shiver crawled down my spine. "Who?" I asked again, softer this time. Michael rubbed his forehead, as if forcing himself to remember. "It was Ryan." My breath caught. Ryan. His best friend. A doctor. Practically family. "What did Ryan tell you?" I asked. Michael's voice cracked. "He told me I had a rare neurological disease. Something that spreads through close contact. He said if I stayed near you, you'd get it too. He said it could kill you." I stared at him, stunned. Michael looked down at his trembling hands. "He made me believe that I was a danger to you. That the kindest thing I could do was disappear." My stomach twisted so hard I felt sick. Ryan. The man who comforted me the night Michael vanished. The man who checked on me. The man who brought groceries when I could barely stand. The man who slowly became the one I leaned on when I didn't understand why my husband was gone. The same man I later married. Michael kept talking, unaware that my entire world had started collapsing. He told me to leave immediately. He kept saying, "If you love Elena, you won't risk her life." And I believed him. I was terrified. I thought I was saving you. He looked up at me with eyes filled with shame. Elena, I never abandoned you. I thought disappearing was the only way to keep you alive. My chest tightened painfully, because I knew something Michael didn't know. Something that changed everything. I took a shaky breath. Michael, there's something you need to hear, I whispered. He looked at me confused. Ryan didn't just help me after you left, I said, voice trembling. Michael frowned. What do you mean? I forced the words out. He proposed to me 2 years later. He said he'd been in love with me for years. He said he wanted to help me move on. And, eventually, I married him. Michael went pale. Completely silent. Completely still. A single tear slid down his cheek. So the man who told me to leave you married you? His voice was barely audible. I nodded, my own eyes burning. And in that moment we both understood the same horrifying truth. Ryan didn't save our marriage. He destroyed it. On purpose. To have me for himself. Michael closed his eyes, whispering. He lied to me to steal my life. And for the first time since he came back, I saw something familiar in his expression. Not fear. Not confusion. But anger. A quiet, broken, heartbreaking anger. Michael didn't speak for almost a full minute. He just sat there on my couch, the couch we bought together years ago, staring at the floor like the truth was a physical blow. When he finally lifted his eyes, they weren't empty anymore. They were hurt, confused, and quietly furious. Elena, did you know? He whispered. My throat tightened. No, I said quickly. I didn't. Ryan never mentioned anything about you being sick. He never said he told you to leave. He just showed up after you vanished. Supported me. Helped me grieve. Michael's jaw clenched. Of course he did, he muttered. He needed you to trust him. To rely on him. I swallowed. Michael, I honestly thought you left me. Everyone did. The police. My friends. Even my parents. And Ryan, he was the only one who kept saying, maybe he had his reasons. Maybe he did it to protect you. Michael let out a bitter laugh. He knew exactly what to say. He leaned back, rubbing his temples, shaken. I remember the night I left, he whispered. Ryan came to the house. He looked desperate. He said he got my test results. He said I had early signs of a degenerative brain infection. Something contagious, something incurable. I froze. What infection? Michael shook his head. I don't know. He said it was rare, something that would destroy my memory, my judgment, and then my body. He said if I stayed with you, you'd catch it too. And you'd suffer worse than me. He looked at me through wet eyes. I was terrified. And Ryan kept repeating, you have to leave. Tonight. No goodbye. If you love her, you'll go. My stomach turned. He pushed a bag into my hands, Michael whispered, voice shaking. And he drove me out of town. Dropped me at some rundown motel. Gave me $200 and said, don't contact her again. I covered my mouth in shock. And then what? I asked softly. Michael's face trembled. Then nothing. I woke up the next morning and he was gone. I had no money. No ID. No phone. I walked for days. And the longer I stayed outside, the more confused I got. I forgot things. I lost myself. A tear rolled down my cheek. I'm so sorry, I whispered. He shook his head. You didn't do this. He did. He gripped the blanket, knuckles white. He didn't just take my wife, Michael said quietly. He took my whole life. Silence filled the room. Heavy, suffocating, painful. Then he looked at me with a vulnerability that shattered me inside. Elena. You married him because you thought I left you? I nodded slowly. I waited for years, Michael. But there was no message, no sign, no clue. And Ryan, he comforted me. He said he understood your mind better than anyone. He said your condition made you unpredictable. My voice cracked. He made me believe you didn't love me anymore. Michael's face broke. Elena, I never stopped loving you, he whispered. Not for a second. A tear slid down his cheek. And I promise you, when I disappeared, I thought I was saving your life. We sat there, two people broken by the same lie, finally realizing the real enemy had been right beside us all along. For a long moment, neither of us spoke. The weight of everything Ryan had done, every lie, every manipulation, sat between us like a storm we were both still learning to breathe through. Michael finally broke the silence. Elena, where is Ryan now? I hesitated. At work, I said slowly. He's still a practicing doctor. Your department. Michael's expression tightened, fear flickering across his face. He's still around you, he whispered, horrified. I nodded. He lives here, I added quietly. He has for the last 3 years. Michael closed his eyes and exhaled sharply, not just out of pain but out of realization. So while I was out there, freezing, starving, losing my mind, he swallowed hard. He was here, in my home, in my bed, living the life he stole from me. My chest burned. I wanted to defend myself, to explain that I never knew that I'd been deceived too, but the words stuck in my throat, because nothing I could say would erase the truth. Michael stared at the floor for what felt like forever before whispering, Elena, did you love him? The question sliced through me. I didn't love him the way I loved you, I said honestly. I was lonely. I was grieving. And he made me believe he understood my pain. I wiped my eyes. He wasn't my first choice. He was the only person left. Michael nodded slowly, not angry, not blaming, just crushed. I get it, he said quietly. He planned it that way. Then something shifted in him, something sharp. Elena, I need to know something. What? He swallowed. Does Ryan know I'm alive? I froze. No, I whispered. I didn't call him. I didn't tell anyone. I took you home first because I wanted to understand what happened. Michael leaned forward, his voice low and tight. Then you need to keep it that way. A chill crawled down my spine. What do you mean? He met my eyes, and for the first time since he'd come back, I saw clarity and fear. Elena, if Ryan finds out I'm back, he'll try to get rid of me again. My stomach dropped. You think he's dangerous? Michael let out a hollow, humorless laugh. He took away my life, my marriage, my mind. He convinced me I was dying. He dropped me in the middle of nowhere with nothing. His voice broke. That wasn't a mistake. That was planned. A heavy silence fell. Michael, what do we do? I asked, voice trembling. He took a shaky breath. We need proof, he said. Proof that he lied about the disease. Proof he manipulated both of us. Proof he did this intentionally. My pulse quickened. But how? Michael stared at the floor again. There's only one person who knows the truth. I frowned. Who? He looked up slowly, eyes dark. Ryan. Before I could respond, headlights flashed through the window, bright, familiar. Michael stiffened. Elena, he whispered urgently. Whose car is that? I turned toward the window. My heart stopped cold. It was Ryan, coming home early, and he was walking toward the front door. The sound of Ryan's car door slamming shut jolted both of us. Michael's entire posture changed. His shoulders tightening, his breathing shallow, his hands gripping the blanket like a terrified reflex. Elena, he whispered, you can't let him see me. I nodded quickly, heart pounding in my ears. Come on, I whispered, pulling him up gently. I guided him down the hallway and into the small guest bedroom. Stay here. Don't make a sound. Michael grabbed my wrist, desperate, terrified. Elena, please be careful. I squeezed his hand. I will. Just stay quiet. The moment I stepped away, he backed into the corner of the room, like someone expecting to be punished. That alone made my chest ache. The front door opened. Elena, Ryan's voice called out. Babe, you home? I inhaled sharply, forcing myself to breathe normally. I walked into the living room as Ryan set down his keys and shrugged off his coat. He glanced at the wet footprints on the entryway rug. You went out in this weather? He asked. Yeah, I said casually, hoping my voice didn't shake. I needed groceries. He nodded, then stepped closer and kissed my cheek. My stomach twisted with guilt and dread. What's wrong? Ryan asked immediately. You seem off. I shook my head. Just tired. He studied me for a moment longer. He always did that. That intense stare, like he could scan for lies. So, did you hear from the real estate agent? He asked suddenly. I blinked. Real estate. About the lake house listing, he said casually. You told me you wanted to sell it, right? My heart dropped. The lake house wasn't just any house. It was the house Michael and I bought together. The one thing I never let Ryan touch. I changed my mind, I said quietly. Ryan frowned. Elena, we talked about this. That place is just a reminder of a painful time. No, I said firmly. It's my memory, not yours. His jaw tightened. That's when I realized something. For years, Ryan had been trying to erase every part of my life with Michael. Slowly, quietly, gently, so I wouldn't notice. He stepped closer, lowering his voice. Are we really doing this again? I'm trying to help you move on, Elena. I don't want to move on, I said before I could stop myself. Ryan's eyes narrowed. And why not? I froze. Because the truth, the real truth, was standing in my guest room terrified of being discovered. I swallowed hard. I just don't, I said softly. Ryan stared at me for a long time, something calculating forming in his expression. Then he suddenly asked, Elena, is someone here? My blood ran cold. What? No, I lied quickly. He didn't smile. He didn't nod. He didn't move. He just tilted his head slightly, the way he always did when he sensed something was off. Elena, he said slowly, you're acting strange. And you only act like this when you're hiding something. I forced a laugh. You're imagining things. I'm fine. He stepped past me, eyes scanning the living room like a predator sniffing the air. Why is the guest room door closed? He asked. My heart stopped. I stepped in front of him. It's been a long day. Let's just. But Ryan brushed past me and reached for the doorknob. I could feel Michael's fear radiating through the door. And in that moment I made a choice. I grabbed Ryan's hand and snapped. Don't go in there. Ryan turned slowly, eyes dark, sharp. Elena, he whispered. Who are you hiding in my house? Ryan's question hung in the air like a blade. Who are you hiding in my house? My heartbeat roared in my ears. For a moment I couldn't breathe. I'm not hiding anyone, I said, forcing my voice steady. Ryan didn't buy it. Elena, he murmured, stepping closer. I know you. I know when you're lying. And you're lying right now. His hand reached for the doorknob again. I blocked him with my arm. Ryan, stop. He stared at me, really stared, and something cold flashed in his eyes. This isn't a game, he said quietly. If there's someone in there, I need to know. I swallowed hard. There's no one, I whispered. Ryan leaned in, his face inches from mine. Then opened the door. My stomach twisted. I knew one thing for certain. If Ryan saw Michael, injured, vulnerable, confused, this entire house would turn into a war zone. I stepped back, letting my breath shake. Ryan, I whispered, please. Trust me. He exhaled sharply, frustrated. Elena, you're scaring me. Are you in some kind of trouble? Did someone threaten you? Are you hiding someone dangerous? Dangerous. If only he knew the truth. No, I said again. Just leave the door. But Ryan wasn't done. He suddenly reached out and grabbed the doorknob again. I grabbed his wrist. Ryan froze. Elena, he said slowly, you've never grabbed me like that in your life. We stared at each other. My hand shaking, his jaw clenching. Then Ryan lowered his voice to a threatening calm. Let go of my hand. I didn't. Because for the first time ever, I wasn't scared of him. I was scared for Michael. Ryan's tone sharpened. Move. No. His eyes widened slightly, surprised. Elena, you're choosing whoever is in that room over me? The words hit like ice. I'm choosing what's right, I whispered. Ryan clenched his teeth. Then he said the line that made my stomach drop. Whoever you're hiding, they must mean something to you. His voice softened. More than I do. I didn't answer. That silence was louder than any confession. Ryan stepped back, staring at me like he was seeing a stranger. Elena, he whispered. Is this about your past? My throat tightened. He took a step toward me. You've been acting different for weeks. Distant. Distracted. His eyes narrowed. Is this about him? My blood chilled. Who? I whispered. Ryan didn't break eye contact. Michael. I froze. Breath caught. Heart stopped. Ryan's voice was low, dangerous, almost trembling with emotion. Elena, did someone bring Michael back into your life? Before I could say anything, before I could even blink, we both heard it. A soft thud. From inside the guest room. Ryan's head snapped toward the door. He didn't speak. He didn't question. He just reached for the doorknob. This time he wasn't stopping. And I had only seconds left to protect the man inside. The man everyone believed was dead. Because I knew exactly what would happen the second he saw Michael. Rage. Jealousy. Violence. And the end of everything I was trying to piece together. Ryan, please, I tried again. Not like this. He leaned closer. Then tell me who he is. His voice trembled, not with fear but with hurt. Elena, are you protecting another man? I closed my eyes. That silence was the answer he feared. Ryan stepped back like I had physically hit him. Oh my God, he whispered, staring at me. You are. I shook my head, tears burning my eyes. It's not what you think. Then what? He snapped. Tell me what it is. I swallowed hard. I can't. The hurt on his face twisted into something darker. Elena, open the door. He reached again. This time Michael, weak, confused, made another noise inside. A cough. A small broken cough. Ryan's eyes widened. That's a man's voice. He looked at me slowly. Elena, is he dangerous? No, I said instantly. Ryan stared at me with a sharp, cold realization. Elena, you're protecting him. My breath hitched. He shook his head, stunned. My God, I've been an idiot. Ryan. He cut me off. You've been distant for weeks. You've been lying to me. Sneaking around hiding things, and now there's a man in our house? His voice dropped to a whisper filled with betrayal. Are you having an affair? The words hit me like a slap. No. I gasped. Ryan, no. He didn't listen. He reached for the doorknob with both hands this time, determined. Elena, step aside or I swear to God. Before he could finish the sentence, I did the only thing I could. I grabbed his arm and shoved him back. Not hard. Not to hurt him. Just enough to stop him. But Ryan froze like I had stabbed him. He stared at me, stunned, betrayal written across his face. Elena. His voice cracking. You've never pushed me. Not once. In 5 years. Tears spilled down my cheeks. He took one step back, then another. Elena. He whispered, voice shaking. Whoever that man is. You're choosing him over me. I didn't answer. Because we both knew the truth. Ryan swallowed hard, eyes red. Okay, he said quietly. Fine. Then he said the most terrifying sentence of all. I'm calling the police. My blood ran cold. If the police saw Michael, injured, confused, with no memory, they would take him away, maybe lock him up, maybe believe he was a threat. I panicked. Ryan, stop. No, he said, backing toward the hallway. I won't live in a house with a secret man hidden in it. He reached for his phone. I grabbed his hand, desperate. Ryan, please. Don't. He pulled his hand away. Elena, you tell me right now who he is. Or the cops get here in 5 minutes. I looked at him, trembling. If I told him, everything would explode. If I didn't, the police would. Ryan's voice cracked. Elena, who is he? I drew a shaking breath, opened my mouth, and said the name that shattered the room. Michael. Ryan went still. Dead still. His phone slipped from his hand and hit the floor. And for the first time in our 5-year marriage, Ryan looked genuinely afraid. Ryan just stood there, like the floor disappeared under him. Michael. His voice barely came out. Elena. What do you mean, Michael? Your ex-husband, Michael. I swallowed hard. Yeah. He stepped back again, shaking his head slowly. Elena, that man disappeared 5 years ago. He's gone. People don't just reappear in your guest room. I know how it sounds. No, you don't, he snapped. Because it sounds insane. I looked him straight in the eyes. I found him on the street, Ryan. Begging. Not knowing his own name. Not knowing me. Ryan blinked at me like he couldn't breathe. You brought your ex-husband into our home and hid it from me? My chest tightened. He's not well. Ryan laughed once, sharp and broken. Oh, he's not well? And what? That makes this okay. You didn't think I deserved to know. You would have reacted exactly like this, I shot back. He pointed at the door. Elena, you dragged a stranger into my house. A man you were once married to. He's not a stranger. He is to me. And apparently to himself. His voice cracked. Elena, why didn't you tell me? Why did you lie? Because I didn't want him taken away before I knew what happened to him. Ryan stared at me for a long moment. A painful, quiet moment. So you trusted him? He whispered. More than you trusted me. I felt that like a punch to the chest. Ryan, that's not true. You pushed me, he said softly, still stunned. You've never pushed me. Not once. But you did it for him. My eyes filled again. I panicked. No, he said, voice flat. You protected him. I didn't deny it. And that hurt him even more. Ryan rubbed his face, pacing the hallway. Elena, you gotta tell me straight. Is he dangerous? Is he lying? Is he playing you? What the hell is going on? He's not lying, I said quietly. He doesn't even remember his own life. Ryan stopped moving. Elena, look at me. I did. Are you still in love with him? My heart dropped. That's not fair. It's a yes or no question. I don't know, I whispered. Ryan closed his eyes like those words physically broke him. Elena, tell me the truth. Right now. Did he come here on purpose? Did he find you? Did you meet him behind my back? No. I swear. I found him by accident. He stared at me again, jaw tight. Elena, why did he disappear? What happened to him? I took a shaky breath. He told me. Someone made him leave. Ryan frowned. What does that even mean? I hesitated, then said it. He said a doctor told him he was sick, that being near me would put me at risk. He thought he was protecting me. Ryan stared at me, confused. A doctor? Which doctor? I swallowed. Someone we both knew. Who? I forced myself to say the name. Ethan. Ryan froze. Ethan, your friend, he whispered. The same Ethan you married after Michael vanished? My voice cracked. Yes. Ryan stepped back, stunned. Elena, are you telling me that your husband left you because your new husband lied to him? My lips trembled. I'm starting to think yes. Before Ryan could even process what I'd said, the front door opened, and Ethan walked in. He froze when he saw Ryan, and then his eyes slid to me. Elena? Why's your car out front? I thought you were working late. Ryan stepped aside just enough for Ethan to see what was behind him. The guest room door. Half open. A shadow sitting inside. Ethan's face dropped. His voice tightened instantly. Elena, who's in that room? I didn't answer. Ryan did. Your wife's ex-husband. Ethan's whole body tensed. That's impossible, he said quietly. She must be mistaken. Ryan scoffed. Dude, she's not mistaken. He's right there. Ethan's jaw clenched so hard the muscle twitched. Elena, he said slowly, why would you bring a stranger into our home? He's not a stranger. He's been gone for 5 years. He didn't leave by choice, I said. Ethan's eyes darkened. Elena, don't start believing. Believe what? Ryan cut in. That you lied to him? Told him he had some disease? That being near her would hurt her. Ethan's expression shattered for a split second. Guilt, fear, panic all flashing across his face, but he shut it down fast. That's ridiculous, he said sharply. Whoever this man is, he's manipulating her. Ryan stepped forward. No, you manipulated both of them. Ethan's voice rose. Stay out of this. This is a family matter. Ryan snapped back. Buddy, I am family. I'm the one she told the truth to. Ethan inhaled sharply, shaken. Elena, he said softer now. You know me. You trust me. Tell him Michael's lying. I looked Ethan straight in the eyes. For him to lie, Ethan, he'd have to remember anything at all. Ethan's face finally cracked. Elena, listen to me. No, I said, voice shaking. You listen. For the first time in my life, Ethan actually looked scared of me. You told him he was dying, I whispered. You told him I could catch it. And then you married me after he vanished. Ryan muttered under his breath. Jesus Christ. Ethan stepped closer, voice breaking. Elena, I loved you. I did what I had to do. My eyes widened. What you had to do? You stole 5 years of my life. You stole my marriage. You stole him from me. Ethan snapped. I saved you from pain. Ryan shoved him back. You destroyed her. Ethan backed up, trembling, unable to keep the mask on anymore. Elena, you don't understand. If he stayed, you would have never looked at me. My stomach twisted. So you removed him, I whispered. You made him disappear. Ethan didn't deny it this time. He just whispered. I couldn't lose you. Ethan finally broke. His knees hit the floor, and he buried his face in his hands. Elena, I'm sorry, he whispered. I couldn't watch you choose him. I loved you first. I loved you more. I thought if he disappeared, you'd finally see me. My whole body went cold. That's not love, I said quietly. That's obsession. Ryan pulled out his phone. Ethan Hayes, you need to come with us. Ethan looked up, panic flooding his eyes. Ryan, no, please don't do this. Ryan didn't waver. You drugged a man. You staged a medical lie. You isolated him for 5 years. You stole his life and hers. You don't get to walk away from that. Ethan lunged forward. Not at me, but toward Michael's room. Just let me talk to him. I stepped in front of the door. No, I said. You don't get near him again. Ethan froze. And that was the moment he realized he'd lost everything. Police arrived within minutes. Ryan handed them the evidence. Medical records Ethan faked. Messages he deleted from my phone. The clinic logs he forged. Ethan didn't fight. He just kept whispering. I did it for love. They took him away in cuffs. The house fell silent. Ryan turned to me. Elena, he can't hurt either of you anymore. For the first time in 5 years, I felt my lungs fill properly. We went back to the guest room. Michael looked up, confused, tired but safe. I sat beside him and held his hand. I'm here now, I whispered. And I'm not going anywhere. He didn't remember our marriage fully. But he remembered one thing. You always made me feel home. I nodded, tears falling. And we'll rebuild that. Slowly. Together. Ryan stepped out, quietly giving us space. The first person in this entire nightmare who truly helped me. Days later, doctors confirmed it. Michael never had any illness. His condition was caused by long-term medication manipulation. Exactly what Ethan had done. Recovery would take time. But at least now he had me beside him. At least now the truth was free. And for the first night in 5 years, Michael slept peacefully. In his own home. With his real wife. Finally safe.